essentially what he said is he wants his fights to be for 4 belts. Right.
Yeah.
So, that's better BF. He could move down and fight Canelo and take all of Canelo's belts potentially at 168. But that's the thing that makes boxing exciting. We were talking about Bud Crawford on the previous episode. I'm not excited by a guy who pulls out of negotiations and says, I'm going to fight the 15th contender in my division. It's exciting to see a guy say, you know what? I just beat the #1 guy in the world. Then I beat a guy who's won 44 fights in a row, who's been calling me out for years. And you know what I want to do now? I don't want to take a break. I don't want to celebrate and win. I want to go and fight arguably the best guy in my division and take his belt.
Yes, Ring Kings podcast is back. We are right back. In fact, this is a bonus episode, like I promised. Okay, like I had to make up for last week. Last week there was no podcast that came out on the Ring Kings podcast. Podcast, right? If you're looking for it in your following and you're subscribed, if you're subscribed on YouTube, you saw the video. I did go out on YouTube. If you're an audio listener, you're saying, hey, where's the episode? It's there. It's just on our lunch break hot take show. Okay. So if you go over to lunch break hot take, you will see that episode. What were we doing? We were covering the fight. Who fought last week? I don't even remember now. There's so much going on, but it is there.
Was it Jake Paul?
It was Jake Paul and it was Lomachenko. Yeah. Those 2 fights. Yes. Yeah.
And listen, while you're over at Lunch Break Hot Take, just hit subscribe over there too.
Yep. Hit subscribe. If you're wondering, right? If you're wondering what the LBHT show says right there, patreon.com/LBHT show. Okay. And also the Cash App over in the corner, $ LBHT show. That is for our Lunch Break Hot Take Network, which we are a part of, Ring Kings podcast. So if you donate or if you go in and you subscribe over to Patreon, that supports this show. Okay. And we have some little goodies for you as well. All right. So make sure you go over there and check it out. But yes, we are not streaming. We are recording. This will come out on YouTube and wherever you listen to audio podcasts. So yeah, if you like the content, make sure you leave a 5-star review, or if you're on YouTube, hit that like button and also subscribe. So yes, we are here to talk about Dmitry Bivol versus Zurdo Ramirez, undefeated Zurdo Ramirez. Okay. This was a bigger fight than I think people realize, because Zurdo is a very good fighter. Very good fighter. And obviously Dmitry Bivol, who made a name for himself by beating the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Okay. That fight wasn't as close as they made it seem on the cards. But yes, these two came together and fought last night. And, there were some high expectations on both sides. Zurdo really felt good going into this fight. Bivol is a man on a mission. And Bivol showed why he is the light heavyweight champion. And I think he handled Zurdo pretty easily.
Yeah, Zurdo had been looking for this fight for a long time. They said on the broadcast many times that he thought he saw something in Bivol that other people weren't really seeing, something that he could exploit. We talked about Bivol and Canelo at the time, obviously, and how Canelo made just a tactical error in trying to walk down a bigger, stronger fighter in Bivol and try to kind of wear him down. He wasn't able to do that. Zurdo is the bigger fighter. He had a few inches on Bivol. I mean, and if you watched the fight, he just physically looked much, much bigger than Bivol in the ring.
Yes. And I also want to point out, Zurdo moves really well.
Yeah. He's in a crouch down stance for most of the fight to be on the eye level of Bivol,
Yeah.
But he could not at all handle Bivol's speed. And he was not able to handle his movement, his footwork. He was not able to break through his defense at all. Bivol was really just kind of landing at will. And Zurdo spent 12 full rounds trying to figure out where is that thing that I thought I saw, and he never found it.
Yeah, yeah. Bivol, look, I mean, we all slept on Bivol. I didn't think anything of him. I'm not gonna lie, right? Going into that Canelo fight, but obviously he showed something in the Canelo fight, right? So you have to respect him after that. I don't care if Canelo's a smaller fighter, right? Canelo's a very skilled fighter, and he just flat out outboxed Canelo. And that's exactly what he did to Zurdo. I thought highly of Zurdo going into the fight. I watched a few of his fights, and yeah, just I think something that was very underrated about Bivol, for me at least, was his footwork, man. Like he just moved in and out of range so quickly. Zurdo just didn't have any answers for it. They tried to back him up on the ropes a couple of times. He couldn't do that. Nothing worked for Zurdo.
Yeah, you can't keep Bivol on the ropes. You can't keep him in the corner. He's always quick to move laterally, get out, and then turn you around and retake the center of the ring. He did that all night against Zurdo. And honestly, I mean, I don't want to say it was a boring fight, but it wasn't really a competitive fight. He was landing very clean shots almost at will, and Zurdo was just, I mean, he had a moment here or there, but they were few and far between.
Yeah, look, man, Bivol is showing himself to be a real problem, right? Obviously, coming off of a win, beating Canelo, and convincingly, he beat Canelo. It wasn't close. It wasn't. The scorecards had it closer than what it should have been in that fight, but obviously his confidence.
Some good lighthearted corruption, like they didn't affect
just a little bit, but obviously his confidence is at an all-time high. And to Zay's point, he doesn't seem too pressed for the Canelo fight again. Like he's trying to walk through that division. He want the top guys in his division. So I think again that's a good thing for boxing because we need some of these guys to start going at start picking off the top of the litter, right? And I think that's what he wants to do. So I look forward to him. His next whatever's next on the cards. I know he mentioned was it better be that? Yeah.
That's who he wants next. He wants that undisputed light heavyweight championship.
Yeah. So he seems to be more concerned with legacy over the big money fight. So that's a good thing for boxing, man. We'll see what happens with this guy, but he is turning into a big problem.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, that's what really makes boxing exciting and more so than other sports. When you have guys who go on those kind of crusades, my favorite fighter, growing up was always Tito Trinidad, and he had that. It was a brief moment, but he had that moment in time where he was going through divisions and just picking off the top guys, and he's like, I'm just going to keep going higher. I'm going to keep going higher until somebody beats me,
Yeah.
And right now Bivol. Now, obviously, I think that's what made Canelo such a great draw as well. He was moving up and just beating champions. It's like, yeah, I'm not concerned with anything else. I'm coming for your belt, and then I'm moving on. I'm going to take their belt, and then I'm going to go over there. I'm going to take his belt, right? And then he ran into Bivol, and Bivol took his lunch money, and now Bivol's the guy who's like, I'm going to go. I want that. I want to go with better BF. I want to get those belts. I want to be the undisputed champion here. He even mentioned possibly moving down to 168 to become the undisputed champion there for a rematch with Canelo, right? Essentially what he said is he wants his fights to be for 4 belts, right? Yeah. So, that's better BF. He could move down and fight Canelo and take all of Canelo's belts potentially at 168. But that's the thing that makes boxing exciting. We were talking about Bud Crawford on the previous episode. I'm not excited by a guy who pulls out of negotiations and says, I'm going to fight the 15th contender in my division. It's exciting to see a guy say, you know what? I just beat the #1 guy in the world. Then I beat a guy who's won 44 fights in a row, who's been calling me out for years. And you know what I want to do now? I don't want to take a break. I don't want to celebrate and win. I want to go and fight arguably the best guy in my division and take his belt.
Yeah. So 168, that's what? Super middleweight? Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's like he's dropping like 7 pounds, right? I don't know if a lot of people are skeptical of that because they don't like that for him, and is that dropping too much weight? Is he is he going to have to kill himself to get down to that weight? And Canelo's the one that's chasing him now, right? Canelo decided he's going to go up. People said that's too heavy for Canelo. So my thing is this. Canelo wants that rematch. He already said it after the Triple G fight. For me, I would say, no, you got to go up to light heavyweight, right? Like if Canelo's too small for light heavyweight, then Canelo just needs to leave that fight alone. There's a lot of other fighters that he could be fighting at 168. So he needs to explore those things. Just leave the Bivol fight alone. Or you move up to 175 and you commit, right? And you say, hey, look, this is what I'm here now. I want to take on Bivol. I want to take on Better Biev, right? Because that's probably gonna be the next fight for Bivol, I think, right? I think because he does not seem concerned about the money. So and Canelo's not ready yet. Canelo said he's got to heal anyway. I think Bivol and Better Biev fight that can materialize pretty quickly, right? And the winner of that. Does Canelo want to be it? Because whether it's Bivol or Better Biev, he could easily win that fight, right? It could very well be him. He's an amazing fighter. So if Better Biev wins the fight, will you fight Better Biev, or are you just focused on Bivol because that's the one that gave you the loss?
Well, I think also the talk about him moving down is because you move down and you beat Canelo. You're an undisputed champion in another weight class.
Yes.
And that just adds on to the legacy. I think right now, after the initial fight, what is concerning Canelo is getting revenge on Bivol. And that's what he said. That's what he wants. He doesn't care about anything else. He wants to go and avenge that loss. So I think a Better Biev fight would be less interesting to him than a Bivol fight, regardless.
Okay, and that's fair. That's fair. He wants to go up there, win or lose. And that fight is that fight. I want a rematch with Bivol. So take the fight. I don't like Bivol having to go down to fight him. But I'll say this. Look, he beat Canelo. He just beat Zurdo. And I think Zurdo is a little underrated. He's not like a household name, but I think that was a very good win for him. If he goes and beats Better Biev, like I told Mikey, he's top 3 pound for pound, right? And I know B thinks he might even be number 1. I wouldn't dispute that. Those are some great wins back to back to back. And if he goes down to 168 and takes Canelo's belts, that's number 1 in my eyes.
Unfortunately, I think that Bivol does. I don't think he's getting credit for that Canelo win. Right?
No,
it's one of those things when we talked about it when we covered that stream, or covered that fight. That if Canelo wins, then it's, oh man, Canelo, he beat the bigger guy and all of that. But then Bivol wins and it's like, nah, he was supposed to. You know what I mean? So I hope that doesn't end up hurting him when it comes to lists like that, pound for pound lists. Now we understand a lot of these lists are BS anyway.
Which is why Ring Kings pound for pound list. First of all, we have a series. You can go ahead and check that out. Okay, you go over there to on YouTube. I might have to put that on the audio side too. Just a couple of things I haven't put out on the audio side that need to go up there. We're going to be doing another pound for pound list there. Okay, if you're tired of these pound for pound lists and just not liking what you're seeing on there and not understanding what's going on there, there's only one that you need to look at. Just one. The Ring Kings pound for pound list. We have a system over here. Okay. All right. And I think it's not original, but it is a system. And I think we are one of the more unbiased. Everybody has their own bias, right? Being honest, but we're one of the more unbiased lists, and we look at everything. And I think it's a very fair list. Whether you agree or not, I think it's a very fair list. So you should definitely check it out. But that pound for pound list, that new pound for pound list is going to be coming out soon. So get ready for those videos. But yeah.
We just do it a little different. Like ESPN, they just throw a handful of cards up and they just pick them up one by one. We flip coins, so ours is a little bit better than that.
There you go.
Well, but you see, I think you're not giving ESPN a full amount of credit there. They throw the cards up in the air and they pick them up, but they make sure they pick up the ones that say
In
top
the order, right?
Top rank, yeah,
on the back first,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, top rank cards. So,
yeah.
Definitely. All right. Do we have anything else that we want to cover on this? I mean, look, this is a quick bonus episode, so you know, we don't want to spend too much time on it. But Dmitry Bivol, if you hadn't heard of him, that's the guy that beat Canelo Alvarez recently, most recent. Beating Zurdo was a very I think that was a very big win for him. Him and Beterbiev, I think, is gonna be the next fight. If that's it, it's too early for me to call that one. Who will win that? Beterbiev is a very dangerous fighter. I know a lot of people are high on Beterbiev. I know that. I think right now a lot of people will say Beterbiev would knock out Bivol. I wouldn't be too sure about that, man. Mm-hmm. I think that would be an excellent fight. The thing with Beterbiev, he doesn't have that many fights, right? He doesn't have many fights, so I mean, it's hard to say. But I know both fighters are very confident. So that. Go ahead.
No. I was. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying. No, that would be a huge fight. And we'll see how fast that materializes. And then, you know, whenever Canelo heals and he's ready to fight, you know, we'll see what his options are. So yeah, hopefully. Look, boxing needs this. We talked about it. Boxing needs some of these fights because we listened to the last episode on Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Who knows if that fight ever happens? So yeah, that's it. Short and simple. Good win for Bivol, and we'll see what's next for him. Any last words before we get out of here?
Bivol is becoming a problem.
He is.
Yeah, and I'll say on that fight, you know, Beterbiev, I mean, he's got scary power. Right? Yeah. I mean, he can put people away with one punch from either hand. But I think in boxing, a lot of times we kind of overrate that. Mm-hmm. You know, and kind of cling to that a little bit because you're talking about a guy in Bivol who has great footwork and is one of the best defensive fighters in the world. I don't think Beterbiev's power is going to play as big a factor as a lot of people believe. Yeah. We've been watching boxing long enough. We know, like, yes, you know, strong fighters like that, powerful fighters. Yeah, it's scary to see until they go up against somebody that can just take a hit, and then that's when you find out, or somebody who they can't hit, or somebody that they can't hit, and then we find out what that fight is really made of. Now, some of these fighters, they're just excellent boxers. They haven't gotten a chance to show it because they just knock people out quickly. That could very well be Beterbiev. We don't know. I think Beterbiev is very skilled. I'm just saying, you know, I would not expect him to be able to go in there and put Bivol away the way he did Joe Smith. No, I don't think so. You know, but he's certainly not a Deontay Wilder. You know, if you neutralize the power, he's still got a lot left. Yes. So that's something that I'm excited to see. Hopefully, it comes together soon. But all right, there you have it. There's your bonus episode. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on audio, make sure you hit that 5-star review for you fellas, okay? And make sure you are following us on our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Ring Kings Pod. All right, that's it. B, are you ready? I'm ready. He is ready. All right. Thank you very much. We will see you guys next time. Peace. Yeah.